The findings are very interesting and intriguing as well. So I believe that we've got 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A. Yes. Do you have a question? No? Salvatore? Yeah? A question?
Comments, observation that I would be happy to leave for everyone, because, well, first of all, thanks, Dan, for the super interesting presentation. In one sense, I mean, these are reflections that emerged on the spot, so just following from your presentation. And one thought was kind of confirmed from that I have from your presentation was kind of confirmed, and one other actually is for more reflection and possibly change some thoughts that I have. The one that I kind of see as confirmed is the fact that this robotic representation seems to me nothing new, that the way we use certain artists, certain creative workers, certain superstars are used to be human superstars, are used to be built. We have pop stars in the UK, in Japan, that are like lab designed by major labels, and that becomes huge commercial success. So in that respect, there is nothing new happening, apart from the fact that all of those human design superstar could be replaced by this artificial design superstar. And that's one thing that I find it kind of a following along a consistent story. Then the thing that where I could, the reflection that could change my view on AI is about the fact that all of this could change the way in which we think what art and how art is being produced and why it matters. Because if all of this get replaced, all the way these superstars arise is replaced, essentially artists needs to go back and find more radical, less commercially oriented ways to produce culture, if to go beyond the machine replacement. And that's it. Sorry for...
Yeah, thank you very much. It's interesting to put Ada in a lineage or a history of developments in robot artists, and then put it in the context of now. So various experimentations in mark making and exploring how robots can produce art. It's just in the 2020s version, they have haircuts and they have social media profiles on our Instagram. So we've got this kind of convergence of mixing, where experimentations in artistic practice are now also experimentations in being an artist. Yeah, I just thought about virtual idols when you were talking then as well. This kind of that fascination with celebrity culture and the power of influencers. No, thank you. I'm still thinking through the first one, but yeah, there's definitely something around virtual idols. Yeah.
Josefa, do you have a question? Yes. And then first, and then Josefa.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. So in terms of the AI artists, we always think about the AI art or AI artworks can be more than human or just imitating the human artworks from the deep learning, for example. But I found that the AIDA is actually very much has a possibility of more than human, I guess. So, but I just wondering one question about what is the artistic authority of AIDA, for example, in terms of maintenance of artworks or reproduction of AI AIDA, or even the copyright of AIDA's artworks, which the either has any foundation or something like that. So, but the decision making of the AIDA's artworks, or who can be has the authority, or AIDA own herself or himself actually has artistic authority. How do you think about that?
Yeah, amazing question. Thank you. The Mella and Seal and the team behind her explicitly addressing that through the idea that she is an artist and is an artwork, and is intentionally trying to blur how we understand her. Because some could see her as an is in moving into this language of giving kind of human status through gender pronouns is an interesting thing. But some could see Ada as the artistic project in itself, but then also the artistic project is creating other artworks, which are then being sold and generating, as we heard recently, £1 million in sales. But I imagine in terms of the legal entity, then it would go back to them, but yes, so the signed artist is Ada, yet the copyright and the ownership of material that must reside with people that have a legal status. So I assume that would then be Mela and Seal. Part of the mystique around Ada is what gets presented in social media. And you have to go into interviews with the development team and various kind of journalistic things to try and get a kind of a behind the scenes glimpse of how all those things work. They're not particularly obvious. The thing that gets visibly presented is the appearance and the shows and, you know, the artistic presence. Those kind of questions are not readily, so the information to help answer those questions isn't as obviously easy to find. Yeah. That's a great point.
Thank you again. That was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that. And tying in a bit with what Rune-san brought up about her identity and how she operates within the art world, I'm personally very fascinated in the concept of Gen AI, wherein the medium is the message, and how potentially one of AI's greatest contributions to the art world may be how it behaves as a mirror to society. So with that said, I mean, there might be a bit of a cheeky question, but I'm curious if and to what extent you believe Ada as a persona or as an identity is, and you kind of touched on this a little bit in your response to Rune-san, is she some form of performance art in herself? And is her role really to kind of commentate on the nature and environment of the art world and how it operates, and how much of cultural labor does not directly relate to artistic practice in itself, but is tied to all these kind of marketing and connections and kind of media presence and identity formation. So.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. It's a bit like that same point around being an artist and being an artwork. So sometimes, very obviously, is a performance when Ada is brought on stage to perform for an audience. So some of the events, they're ticketed, people sit in the audience, Ada would do a poetry piece, and it would have that kind of usual kind of relationship. But every instance of her appearance or every time that she arrives could be seen as a performance artwork when she's the project as well. So sometimes the artist on stage doing stuff in the audience, other times as an artwork, constantly getting us to think about those questions. For the other part of your question, the team are very explicit that Ada is questioning things like AI, ethics, transhumanism, technological developments, the way society works. Those themes run right the way through her work, including that video. They're less obvious about, and this is where Karen and I's work come in, as commentary on artistic identity. That's kind of something they're doing, but they're not explicitly asking people to think around artistic labor or creative labor or copyright or earning a salary or creative careers. She's got an amazing accelerated career. Within, you know, if you think about an artist's career, within months was high profile, selling thousands of work. That's not a typical artist's career. Obviously she's not a typical artist, but that kind of work has received less focus compared to her being a mirror on societal issues. Thank you.
Can I make a quick comment on that? Because I was thinking that it would be also very interesting to think about, based on what you say and your comments as well, think about Ada's political economy. And also there are ideological aspects in what she is promoting. You know, AI, she analogizes AI with God. Maybe this is a rhetoric, but maybe this is, what she wants to say and promote and present AI or AI robots like herself as something which is close to God. In terms of their capacity and their insight. And also this consistent promotion or comment on transhuman and posthuman aspects of AI and AI taking agency from human artists or human being. So definitely I think that there are some ideological aspects as well. So what do you think, Dan, about this?
Yes, thank you very much. Try and begin to answer that question. One of our themes was Ada as an artist and border crosser, and that comes from, sorry, bear with me. Yes, Gaztambidin Fernandez has three conceptions of the artist in society. So this work models how artists have roles in society, and one of the ways in which they conceptualize it is a border crosser. So in some of the works, Mela talks explicitly around basically how can Ada get attention? It's the things that she or Ada does artwork on if she's doing pastel portraits of landscapes, that's probably going to be wholly less interesting than commenting on alien society. So it's a savvy technique to purposely position Ada as contributing on the things that people are talking about. So she's going to generate attention by talking about high-profile societal zeitgeist issues as opposed to, and I don't mean this to disparage other types of work, I didn't mean to be flippant when saying about pastel work, but that's probably not the kind of society-questioning artwork that was intended here. The AI God one, yeah, that piece of work is the most recent one. So I think that when you're saying the political rhetoric of the things that she talks about, I think she's just talking about important stuff because that gets attention. You know, if you're going to be an artist selling work, generating attention, talk about the things that everyone else is talking about. To sell the gin, you talk about AI.
And I think that we can move on to the next presentation. Actually, there is a really nice connection between Dan's presentation and what Josefa will be talking about. So as part of your presentation, you made comments on audience or market response to Ada and Ada-made artworks. And that's what Josefa will be focusing in the next 20 minutes. Currently, Josefa and I are writing a report on market responses, audience responses to human-made art and AI-made art, and the findings are not coherent. Findings are contradictory at some points. So now, please welcome Josefa.